Yo, what up, YouTube? What up, what up, what up? This is, I think that a lot of the confusion pertaining to scripture or Christianity is the fact that we're the elements of carbonite and the incorporeal and innermost essence of man, okay, collide to create this human body. Is that we have a difference between knowledge which is based upon perception, and wisdom which is eternal, which comes from God. So you're dealing with two different forms, if you will, of knowledges. Although wisdom is a platform for knowledge. As knowledge is a application, one of the applications of wisdom. As in, one would need to have that knowledge or information, and once experience gathered from that knowledge, by applying that knowledge, many of these things is the utilization of knowledge is the factor mostly of wisdom. Okay, so any type of knowledge or information that you could use, but wisdom also contains the structures that eerily, for some reason or another, upon which this fluid reality sits and has some form of structure that we are not in some severe point of limbo. And speaking of limbo and the Travis Scott concert pertaining to Christ in limbo situation where individuals got stampeded or stomped out to a degree, to show you this thing pertaining to the artwork that was that the concert that Travis Scott had was inspired by, okay, was called Christ in Limbo. But in truth, while it is particularly precise for individuals that are meditating upon such works, is to understand the difference between mankind's knowledge, okay, and the knowledge of God, and all the things that an individual man is susceptible to being an element, because there are spirits and spiritual components which deals or operates, I guess you could say, within the realm of reality and even perceptual reality to some extent or another, which can influence an individual to act out in particular. Okay, and this means the application or the utilization of knowledge that creates a bias between unbiased wisdom, because wisdom is generally unbiased, or has to be unbiased to the extent that it is the description of archetypes and structures upon which the matrix sits, that generally does not change. All right, and if it does change, there are specifics that pertain to that. Okay, but for the most part, these structures, these pillars do not ever change. Okay, reality will change, your memory will change, everything else will change. This type of wisdom is most definitely important, and not only does it explain the relativity and the basically the relationship between a man and his physical reality environment and the spiritual components of which one is unable to see, but can recognize the factors within their life environments as structures in which are not going to move, that individuals will have to form some form of conclusion or operate around. And these things can manifest also pertaining to social disputes in society, where individuals will have to particularly choose, okay, a choice that they need to align with in order to I don't know how to say it, fit within the rest of society or hurdle in. And if an individual does not do even these social things, which are unspoken rules, then this same individual can be outcast, such as Christ, such as myself, such as individuals that fall the way. And that shows you that the wave and the knowledge of this world, okay, is pretty much like is going to be contrary, all right, to the wisdom that is the void in their soul. With the difference between one's knowledge, however the distance between one knowledge is from wisdom, which individuals would already be granted or blessed with, but whether an individual chooses to has the ability, a man as a lower G God has the ability or the opportunity to be a judge of his own government, of his own mind, and choose whether he is how he's going to walk and how he's going to conduct his life. And if he goes according to his knowledge, which is in particular, which separates or divides himself from other portions of the population on superficial pretenses in which he is not free to discuss his liberties, in which his knowledge, in which he is able to achieve some type of benefacting factor in which he could do better for himself in society or otherwise from others. This same knowledge, okay, by lack of sharing, can also be in somewhat of a shadow of something that is oppressive and withheld from society. And as you know, with the ways of this world, this is not to say that these individuals are evil. The reason why I say this is because I want to point out to you guys how subtle how subtle knowledge is, and how knowledge is what creates pride. Okay, knowledge creates pride. All right, and that's written in scripture. And the other thing is individuals stubbornness. Okay, creates pride. All right, at a base level. All right, so then you get into what type of knowledge this individual has that makes them particular. Okay, and when you understand what type of knowledges they have that you don't have, that makes them separate. Even it could, because most of these things are secret and you're not going to get the detail, or you're going to have to discern and separate things. Okay, then you understand what it is. This world is based upon supply and demand. All right. So if this world is based upon supply and demand, then you have a situation in which the ways of this world is going to be based upon survival of the fittest, and much of our ways is going to be fight or flight. Even if we live in suburbs and we have a mask of being civilized and fitting in with other nationalities, ethnicities, creeds, so on and so forth. That does not exactly make us united. Okay, but I'd rather have the nuance of being united than have I'd rather have the nuance of being united than to be as a nation in which everybody acts particularly the same. This is not what I'm promoting at all. And the reason why I point these things out, you guys, is because this knowledge, the temptation is so subtle, in which people are so, when I deal with people who deal with Christianity, the things I deal with is people are worried about the things that are doing that would seem drastic, that everybody knows. Shame, shame, shame. Like, so take for instance, if I smoke a cigarette, or like, you know what I'm saying? In the privacy of my home by myself, I go to a campsite. God forbid. All right. This is not the type of behavior, okay, that is in a greater sense that's going to tempt or sway you to create such a drastic change that is beyond your conscious mind, in which you were thrown out to the sea, pertaining to consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? It's the knowledge that you have of knowing this little tip, this little factoid, this little hideout, cabin, or whatever, this little tree house where little kids have a particular code, and if you don't have that password, then you can't get in that tree house. This is the particulars and the divisions and separation of knowledge, if not superficial indeed. You understand what I'm saying? Because even if it's not superficial, the knowledge, the basis, and the criteria, and the basis that it's going to be based upon, is going to be a privatized and a closed group. So with that being said, that this situation, that it has to be this way, and it's not me saying that the individuals are evil, but when you get into supply and demand, and when you have something good, I mean, you can't just introduce the world into it. So how many things are we thrown on a day-by-day basis where we're given propaganda that we should all hold hands and embrace as the world, and the call in the world, so this PBS type of calling, okay, that's not from a facility that is run off of donations. You know what I'm saying? When you get into these types of situations, man, this is where we have to work a particular balance, because while we can't pretend that we hate diversity, if we have particular knowledge that separates us, that we are able to enjoy, then we should enjoy the privileges of that knowledge, but not be puffed up by pride out of the luxury that we are able to enjoy these things while others are maybe not able to enjoy it. But we should definitely have a nuance and some type of beneficiary factor, in which the blessings in which we are able to receive, we are able to hand out or widen the scope of one's awareness or consciousness, and where they're able to at least experience some nuance of this, even if it's just an individual being in a particularly better mood for a moment in time. Okay? But if you receive a blessing, your blessing should not, in most cases, particularly stop with a single individual. I say this because the connotation of exercise would seem as to be a selfish event. But if it makes me feel productive and it puts me in a better mood, which makes me feel like I have the energy and the capacity to which I feel good about myself, which makes me want to help other people, then by all means, for myself and serving the public, why would I ever stop exercising? Or why would society want me to stop exercising either? Or being engaged in something to where I can derive some type of productivity or intrinsic feeling in which would spill out of my heart into society, in which I would help others, and it would not be based upon superficial supply and demand factors such as mammon, money, basically. You see what I'm saying? So the fact of the matter is knowledge does divide, and when knowledge divides, and you have groups that are privy and more privileged than other groups, then this creates a supremacy, whether spoken or unspoken. Okay? And over situations of time, the temptation that comes upon an individual's mind, whether they're in counsel or not by themselves, then this thing would be called a spirit, and it's so subtle and influential, in which these subtle things that are unspoken but commonly agreed upon, okay, even without the parties particularly speaking to one another about the things that come upon their mind, because they're not aware of particularly what has been installed in the back door of their mind along with their interests. All right, anything that would manifest and sprout and grow roots that would cause an individual to start to turn cold based upon the knowledge that they have pertaining to some superficial form of privilege, you know what I'm saying? Then you're running into a situation. The knowledge situation based upon supply and demand of this world and this economy and how it works and what have you. You can't have everybody knowing every fucking thing. I get that. Okay? Because we're talking about the rape of Africa and how precious black people are. But then we're not. And the fact of the matter is, when the world comes together to oppress a certain particular, then we all have the particular agreement of who is God. All right? But the problem with that, with saying that, is pertaining to these superficial artifacts. All right? These superficial artifacts is the fact that the Christ said he concerns over the inner Jew. This means that if an individual do not have those particular structures in which there would be morals and ethics and conduct themselves in a particular way, okay, then this same, not according to their genetic makeup or anything like that, these individuals are not based to get into heaven based upon the way that they look. God don't give a damn about that shit. You know, if it burns, it burns. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about corporal things. So pertaining to our elements, okay, the division isn't necessarily our flesh, okay, the war between our flesh and our spirit, though it is. But God points at things that you are able to indicate and able to see, but is the separation of your knowledge, all right, that would change the nature of an enclosure that we would call Eden, okay? So this Adam being insubordinate to God one time is not necessarily the case, or being insubordinate to his conscience. That's not necessarily the case. It's the repetition of that creates bonds and breaks former chains, so on and so forth, and then individuals get in a nuance of feeling taboo, doing something that is taboo. Oftentimes in our society, pertaining to secrets, okay, sexual endeavors, any type of situation that is happening amongst secret council. This gives us a little hit of dopamine, or a great hit of dopamine or a dopamine spike, as if we were eating those old chocolates back in the day that they talk about. I guess that they had in Nazi Germany, where you could enjoy a chocolate that had a little dose of meth inside of it. Okay, that dark chocolate that when you eat it, the dark chocolate has like a caffeine content in it natively. Okay, and I'm not being facetious or anything, you guys. I'm just, dark chocolate has, if you ever went to Whole Foods and you got the cocoa nibs or something like that, even if you don't have any energy, if you don't have coffee or something like that, if you eat some of these damn cocoa nibs, man, they're so strong. And this is not a chocolate like, you know, after they add the sugars and everything like that, but the chocolate is so potent, the cocoa in there, you know what I'm saying, that it's literally like, you know, it's like taking a whiff of something. It's like getting lit for a sec. You know what I'm saying? And it has antioxidants and it's good for your skin. You know what I'm saying? And it hits. Okay, I can't say what it hits like. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a Diet Coke. Okay, if it's not a Coke. But we definitely know that the Coke had to come before the Diet Coke, right? So when I talk about cocoa nibs, okay, this is the thing, and I'm not being facetious. I'm talking to you straight. I'm literally talking to you about chocolates, 1000% on God with all my heart, soul, and might. Okay, but the things that are derived from such a thing, you see what I'm saying, and for what intentions that you eat these things or consume these things, or the information or knowledge that you have, which separates you from your neighbor. And this seems to be the situation that creates some type of deferred higher value in society, is the fact that an individual has particular knowledge that is different than another individual. So by sharing too much of this information, even based upon supply and demand, even though these things are not tangible, then this same individual will lose value and status as the knowledge he has becomes more common amongst men. So therefore, knowledge is kept with an individual. That individuals are able to benefit or profit off of that knowledge, because if everybody had that knowledge, okay, then there would be no profit, okay, and even the entire structure of society would change, that everybody could benefit that from a mainstream standpoint. There'd be commercials and everything else from people's privatized situation, knowledge in which they are able to enjoy things, okay. But in all cases that I found pertain to supremacy is false, and supremacy is not the issue. It is the knowledge that an individual carries, that they assume to be their own knowledge, not knowing that a spirit has slipped in the way. And this spirit, while they may have that and they can carry that supremacy, while they're focused on that, it's going to fracture in other places pertaining to their conscious and knowledges and even memory of certain specific details that affect their life and character. Are going to get ripped out, and it's going to get replaced with this negative knowledge, information that hasn't been solidified and cross-referenced in the fluid intelligence of the brain to be executed in some type of applicable way, or take root in an individual's mind that may change an individual's character to become a better person. Generally creates more biases, in which creates an individual to experience self-pity and woe is me. And when these situations come overboard, all right, then the relationships become toxic amongst individuals that are close to these individuals, and their agreements and confirmed I don't know what you would call it. The embrace of self-importance or value. These individuals end up solidifying into some form or clique, not based upon interest, but some form of supremacy. And this is a thing that pertains to knowledge that is subtle, that is not something that those particular individuals in most cases would necessarily engage themselves in, especially in public if everybody was watching. These things would be seen as a lonely thing. So these things can be seen as different weights or temptations, and this is the difference between the impulses and what your flesh knows and the sensations of this matrix, which are real but aren't. You understand what I'm saying? That which is psionic pertaining to your mind, you can never quantify as being fake if an individual experiences such phenomena. This life that we live is just a temporary experience. Of all things, it is temporary. A spark, a little vapor in our entire duration of existence. Individuals that have had the opportunity to be born and come to earth and don a body or a vessel or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the blessing to fully experience this, get lost in the sauce, and even experience death. Not saying that these things are necessarily good, and death is not necessarily something that you particularly want to experience, but it is an experience nonetheless that you would never have. Being immortal from the moment that you're born. Where you go, or what option or what roads you choose to take from the moment that you're born will lead all the way into your eternity. Isn't it interesting? And that you are the captain of your own ship, and you get to navigate where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to say, what you want to eat, so on and so forth. All right. In other archetypes of society, this would be seen as madness for individuals to have that much liberty and freedom. All right. So it's great on one scale that we get to take advantage of this. But along with getting things, there should be a baseline property in which we take care of for the rest of common society, because we can't enjoy the things that we have unless the baseline common portion of society has the things that they need to have. So those structures and the baseline of society needs to go first if we're going to build an empire that's going to stand. How much money can we take out of the Defense Department right now and not be devoid, since the nature of war has changed from hand-to-hand combat for the most part? Even though individuals are allegedly, even though in fake media news, I kind of have a hard time believing that individuals are at war right now. Okay, I'm not sure if I fully believe that, because the news and the things I've been seeing has been such a hoopla. You know, individuals don't talk about the war. I'm not even one to talk about wars that have a great interest in it. But I mean, if people are getting injured and harmed, I mean, I think it's a public concern that individuals will used to talk about. And we're just so fucking desensitized. You know, we're no different than dolls anymore. You know, all we care about is what's new on the menu. You know, it's really sad. There's no level of consciousness outside of one's self-owned centeredness. And this is the black sun, or the black hole, the void in individual soul that's in the earth, the hole that we are buried in after we perish, or the seed that's placed in there. And we decide how we will want to grow. But most individuals never escape the matrix, not knowing the sun is out, but worshiping Ray. That doesn't make any sense. The word Egypt means bondage, and they don't know where they're at. Even though they do, they can't completely encompass the knowledge their teachers have. So therefore, they're stuck along for the ride till they are able to fit in with the rest of society. And by the time you're able to fit in with the rest of society, you have to get socialized again. And look how we're like dogs in cliques when you go inside of jails and shit, and niggas is all divided and separated based upon colors. So are the Crayolas. We get in fight over colors like we're immature kids. But I can understand, because these colors address plates, and these plates feed the next generation. It's just the things that we have to do in order to get them food to eat is kill their spirit altogether. And you see, it's deeper than these contracts. Because the work you do for that opportunity you get will turn into something that will reap from your kids. Most definitely in two ways. And your kids will influence their friends. And this is a fire that spreads and devours the minds of individuals in particular that don't communicate with one another because they're all so special. It would take a loser to spread the word like Christ. Excuse me, maybe that was me. We're just so accusational because Christ came as one of us, or God came as one of us, that we think that we are God. This is the same deception that was the difference between the man and the serpent in the garden, in the sense that man actually had curiosity to kill the cat, and he believed that he could really be like God. And that's what Satan wanted to be. And he was an adversary. That don't mean particular that your adversary or your enemy is the one that you have beef with in particular. What do they say? Imitation is the best form of flattery. And man, it's not trying to imitate God, but he has all the accolades and pride. So, not taking in consideration his consciousness and his knowledge that doesn't connect together, then he teaches others to do his work. And everything is militarized, but we lose individuals, don't we? Even while they still stand and society is separated. If we had a share, we will all burn to death first. But we call ourselves united, but we're divided. And this division isn't necessarily a natural division, is it? This is a division in a native sense that's in particular that pertains to a consciousness. And if we had a collective mind, and that collective mind is fractured, and one was a mentalist, exactly, with the Holy Spirit, you could connect the dots between dots that don't connect between broken images in the mirror. You done seen it all like a fly, but they will call you Beelzebub, and the mirror isn't yours. Not selfless, but narcissistic, self-centered, but they can't understand their own reflection. Don't know the I am that they is. They stay taking selfies and pictures with nobody in them. They just ghost. They don't even know X marks the spot. You ask them who they are, they tell you what they look like. Fuck. I was a blind man sitting there making music like I was Ray Charles. I didn't give a fuck what you looked like. I wanted to know who you are. If I wanted to know what you look like, I'd be blind like the rest of the people that get deceived by their sight. You see, the fruit looked good, and it was a good idea at the time. How many times have we said this thing? This is a portion of history that keeps repeating, and we never notice. We just forget. The difference between God and man is human beings chase their tail like dogs. That's 69. A common state of cancer is what individuals get. It's like a pandemic. Even if you're healthy, you catch this shit. Think about it. It's a curse of knowledge that we brought upon ourselves that divided us in totality. And therefore our mind can't come together. And when we mix together, some individuals' minds are different than others. It'd be like mixing ink inside of water. So therefore you need the bleach of God, which is Christ. And this is the difference between men's pride and what they think they know, even though they don't know, they don't think, and the wisdom of God. Therefore society is developed out of fear. Our way is in scarcity for others to profit. And others can't enjoy that profit unless we suffer. So therefore there needs to be sacrifice. And all of these things pertain to knowledge and aren't necessarily necessary, are they? But they are here, and we have accepted it to go along with the process and the everlasting chains to join in. If we can't beat them, join them. If God sent several sons or several servants onto a vineyard, all of these servants would die. This is a paradigm in the Bible. And each time we come to you and I beg for you to listen, and you do, and you enjoy to hear me speak in the words I taught. But then you go about your business just like an insect without even thinking about it. Disassociated most of your life. I asked you what you do last week. You can't even remember yesterday. And I'm supposed to build a relationship. Our relationship will be bent where you are leaning on me constantly. And I'm like, fuck, I just can't breathe. Even though the pussy kind of good. Fuck. This is the shit that I'm talking about. I want to have conversations. Conversations are not the same as they used to be. They so lighthearted and fuck shit. Niggas is so intimidated anymore. People haven't spoken since COVID. All of them trying to keep healthy, not knowing that they mentally sick to begin with. And your flesh is a root kit of every disease. The diseases that you know about especially. Imagine if you were uneducated. When we were uneducated, we didn't have things to know of, and we didn't get those. The fluidity of this dream and the harp of David. I really just can't stand this shit, man. This place where I lived the whole nine. But I'm grateful, nonetheless, for the experience. How could I change it? These are things that I experienced that can't be taken, even though I don't have a dollar. The wisdom I got stays with me forever. It outlives individuals that have interest to get in shape and buy exercise equipment that only use it for 2 weeks. It outlives the interest of children when they get a new toy, or females especially. Because this is a wisdom that continues to grow. I don't have to do anything but just sit there and collect interest. And these riches are not physical, so I'm seen as a loser. And that is a blessing also, because I don't want to fuck with those who perceive like that. They missing the bigger picture. Matter of fact, they missing all of them. They didn't know that they was blind. A lot of people didn't know back in the day, deep state pertaining to Hyperia, deep state was created in Hyperia. All right. There was an argument between 2 UFO ships before this kicked off in the game, and these ships had an argument. The argument was, which side does an individual lean on? Logic or emotion? The 2 hemispheres of the brain comprise the deep state, the blue and the red. And the blue is more emotional than the red, which is more conservative in logic. You might not remember that, but it happened. So the fact of the matter is you have 2 hemispheres of the brain arguing in deep state, and the individual sits there in cognitive dissonance, not understanding they own government, that govern means control and means mind. That's mind control. And you watching on TV and you vote on your own, and you don't have your own set up because you don't know yourself, even though you think you do, except when you come across a real nigga and you like, damn, I thought that was a loser. This nigga got his shit together. I can't figure myself out. I can't answer a single question. He ain't asking difficult questions. I must be tripping. Nah. You lost yourself in the process of knowledge and became rudimentary functions that I could use no different than a tool. And these females come up thinking that they beautiful, placing their intentions and they blessings and they assets in my faces like they breasts and they fucking cute butts. But at the same time, the minute they speak, I'm like, fuck. I ain't putting no water in that soil. The only thing there is an image. I could get that on Facebook. I could tweak off some pictures in 30 minutes and live the rest of my life in peace. What makes me want to hang out with you in particular? You look like a lot of work, and you think that you well put together, so you don't have any insights. You're already advocating and advertising your body as if your body is your personality. And I'm like, fuck, you want me to take you seriously? I'm gonna do you a favor. And then they call a nigga gay? Whoa. Knowing that they make fun of niggas and they be like, that nigga ain't shit. He got with me and then he left. You wasn't looking for a relationship, just in a statement. You was looking for a way out. And I'm telling you, these are the things and the echoes from my past when I was a teenager. And I didn't really understand it. And I thought it was common understanding that, hey, we didn't have no deep conversation. And you were getting live in the moment. So then it just went down. Individuals come up later saying that shit happened, and I find out that it didn't, and they was liars. They all blame the nice guy, and the nice guy is the fall guy. Isn't it interesting? But yet here, I'm censored on YouTube, and I'm considered to be evil. Look at how much shit I had to put up with to sound like this. How many enemies can I have if I have no friends? It don't make no sense. And this is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And this is the difference between God and men. Is that men believe that they are God, and that's knowledge. But knowledge does not know wisdom because man doesn't believe in God. Therefore, he cancels himself out. Check out my new earbuds. I can't hear shit. You understand what I'm saying? These ghosts and these thoughts and the sensitive and the sensitizing of your ears between the shit I watch like ASMR and electromagnetic hearing, and now I can hear through the fourth wall, and niggas will call me crazy, but people will front here and say it's Havana syndrome, and I'm like, fuck that. These are some spirits, some rogue ass spirits. If you don't understand this shit, then you're not really Christian. But wait a minute, this is God's country. They will give me a diagnosis for keeping it real. They did the same shit to Christ. We ain't never learned. Who are you? More emotional or more logical? And you gotta lean completely to one side. Even though that you got two hemispheres of the brain, look at how the bills divide niggas. America is bipolar. And that seeps from the intrinsic value, the internal to the external. More than from lower to above is the internal, and the external is closer to as above, so below. So if individuals don't know themselves and they're operating only in an existential way, along with their identity and their ego, so on and so forth, then they built this character based upon what they think this character is like without being that character. So therefore, they build something while lacking experience. And now we're no different than video games, and they don't understand their spiritual self. So therefore, they're just physical, elementals, carbonite, clay. And when they separate from their knowledge and their consciousness, this is like a guillotine that comes across their neck. And now they just walk around like ants without any location to go to in particular. And I just laugh like, fuck. These are the same individuals that called me loser, and our enemies were made as my footstool. And I wasn't looking for nothing bad, yo. I was just trying to help these niggas. My bad, I got a little pissed off. So the race for man is not pertaining to races, black, white, so on and so forth. It is the intrinsic and moral factors in which comprise a man based upon his values that are unbiased. This would be the closest way to Eden. To be more conscious, if anything, get rid of knowledge that separates others. But we ain't willing to sacrifice or part ways with the things that we love, so we would call these things to be more communistic, but sometimes it may look a certain type of way to get to a certain type of place. I want other individuals to have the same rights as me. I don't know why I wouldn't. I'm all about equality. I don't know why females hate me but love their abusive boyfriends. I must look like the safe guy, and I'm gonna be if it's gonna keep me free. They just see what they think I am. You see what I'm saying? And I'ma let them see it, because if they see a different picture, it's been proven. I can't get rid of niggas. I can't. Remind me of that damn song back in the day. I think it was by Joy Division. And it's called Dead Souls. I swear, my past, no different than John Wick. People call me sadistic because I think it's a Christian movie. But he was trying to escape his past and change his ways. And just when he tried to escape, isn't it the same for us that we can't leave? No matter what, this spirit comes inside of this individual, such as a hive or a collective, knowing things that it doesn't know, like it had an eye upon you. That's a sniper you don't know about. Even though it's a sniper of a familiar face, they have a different personality. And you're trying to get rid of this former life or this old version of yourself because you done grew out of it. And it's like doing business with the mafia or a gang. Blood in and blood out. You can't really escape. You didn't sign no contracts neither. The last company that I worked at had the spirit of the former companies I worked for and all my prior jobs. Think about that shit. Meaning, it felt like it was Russian dolls all together. And I had the comprising total sum of all the problems I had at former places that I worked. Even though they were different, they were all the same. This is like a beast. But it's not one that you can see. And we are fools because we're constantly looking for enemies that we know are not there. We hide all our issues just to seem perfect. Because we rather seem away than be real. We live in a world where individuals are only really fake. Look at their Facebook. Motherfuckers have been on the market all the time, and motherfuckers on the market can't be loyal. Generally, the closest you could have of that is finding a bodyguard. Think about it. But individuals want trophies, and trophies are, I don't know. There are many beautiful women. Give me a homely one with morals, though, that knows how to cook and do cool shit like back massages. That's fucking awesome. For that individual, I do pretty much probably anything. Because real love can be facilitated there. And you got to have the spirit of love before you manifest it between two individuals. People get emotional and come together and break apart. Commitment is a little bit different. And I understand that individuals are more immature than they think. And I know that they don't think so much also. So therefore, why would I engage? Whether I stay out of the way like a cookie jar. I can see your history. I ain't even a hacker. This pertains to consciousness, so on and so forth. I don't look into individuals or look into the things that you do. Only the things that you show. And I only do that because I'm an active listener. I'm not looking to rip you apart. I can understand what's private, so I don't say shit. And I understand that other individuals are like that also. I'm an individual that respects others' privacy, but in order to respect others' privacy, there's got to be trust. And we're all fucked up here, and we're infiltrated also. Pertaining from the internet, the government, so on and so forth, these corporations, supply and demand, the shortening of resources will divide the people even further. And all of this is based on knowledge and the fear of these things. And we are quite aware with the news. We ain't told anything good half the time. Even more than that. This is a cesspit for bad energy and bad information. You understand what I'm saying? I see the prettiest things that are stuck up on TV become so friendly over this situation while they're waiting for this border situation to get fixed. And they smiling with red on. I'm like, fuck. You were reachable when you had it all together because you don't know your mind. There's an individual that wears you like a charm on their bracelet. You don't give a fuck as long as you could get your hair done. You live in a cage that you call a home and hang pictures on it, and you spend excess amounts of money for superficial shit to cover up the fact that you don't know yourself and hide your insecurities also. There is nothing more insecure in this world than a pretty woman. The relation you have will become a portion of her self-centeredness most of the time. That's why I don't really deal with American women. Most of my girlfriends have been foreigners. I just can't deal with the topics. This place is superficial. The general sense is an idiot's compilation. And sometimes that's hella fun, but it's gotta stop sometime also. You understand what I'm saying? So the race for mankind doesn't pertain to supremacy or knowledge of what an individual looks like, but heaven coming down upon a man is his morals, ethics, and reasons in which he is able to treat all manner of man the same. These are base principles in which you would say, no, duh, we do that. But evidently, we don't, because look at the world. Kids will have a more successful time getting along pertaining to the world than individuals such as us. And that's because we have something in which we have knowledge that individuals know that we got to have a necessary evil, because the factors that facilitate society just would not work. The black market has to stay black because black things are valuable. Therefore, black men has to be illegal. And this would turn white women into commodities. You see, it's the Emmett Till thing, but it's the Emmett Till thing spiritually. White individuals got to keep their hygiene to progenate and push forth their race. On one end is supremacy, but on the other end, when you look at it from Darwinism, it couldn't be more pathetic. You were weak, and even by natural selection, by minorities, you were getting reaped from the earth, and the angels are loving it. And I just sit there smiling with my McDonald's, waiting for your daughters, looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator, like, come with me if you want to live. Global warming is on the rise. I could get you that natural tan. Or I could watch you die. Either way, I'm going to eat this McDonald's and smile because it's great. I done been through a lot of shit. So I sit here and bend back your fingers and laugh at the choices while you sit there in your supremacy and wait for superficial things that are more immediate and instant gratification. And I make fun of my prey that's preying on me. And I'm praying to God in a bear trap. And the greatest hunter is the prey itself. But vengeance is the Lord, so I just watch you get ripped apart by your own decisions, knowing you always gonna choose the bad ones if I give you good ones and you hate me. So my weapon is done. I slide in the ice pick. Maybe one day they'll get good old boy the cryogenics he deserves. I'm out here rocking around like Simon Phoenix. Having a good time. You understand what I'm saying? So, what divides man is knowledge in the portion of man, because the earth or the flesh or man is given so much accreditation is because the ego takes God's credit, and that the spirit of wisdom, being unbiased, must come in through the element of flesh in order for it to be expressed in society. This you would call heaven, and people would consider heaven to come from the earth. And this is not what God wanted for individuals to think. You see, this affects more things than just what you think in pertaining to credit. It affects where you're going to go, and your ideologies, and what you think, and the choices you choose also. Just in that one question. I can even tell that in a meta state that if you're not dealing with the Most High that I'm dealing with, then you're going to think in a certain fashion that's going to chain you, your consciousness or your intentions or your interests to this earth, which will make you more susceptible to sin given circumstance or opportunity, because you live by a different law that's closer to a beast. Your inheritance to be blessed, you want to be blessed in the earth. And I know what supply and demand is. And I'm a black guy. I came up through slavery. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're an individual that has to stand on my back, I know you comprise of weaknesses, and your supremacy is fake, and you are a younger generation than you promote yourselves to be. And I know these things because I know where I came from. You see what I'm saying? So where you have anger, I have mercy. And that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And you see, things won't change because people won't let go of power. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? These are things that I just wanted to bring to your mind to be conscious of pertaining to this world and the things I see in this world, and the difference between why man is calling yourself God when God said and we would call them gods or something like that, lowercase g's. You don't want to be the God over your own life. That it sounds good, but it's a bad thing. It's a subtle. He was communicating with the serpent because he knew he had to come back and save man. But individuals that manifested into becoming their own God, that their imperfect knowledge and they're being cut from wisdom, not dealing with wisdom, not because God cut them off, because they rejected. They chose to go to hell. God didn't judge. That's what they wanted. They didn't want to deal with God. It's your choice. God is the one that gave you free will. Your other religions don't necessarily do that. That's not what it looks like to me. God does that. All that shit comes out of Christianity. And it's fact, and I can tell you for a fact, because I remember my history for sure, before I got to earth. Okay? There are individuals that you know that when you open these doors that come up and find you, these hunters come from the former world and they remember you. These are spirits that are behind the veil. They remember you. And they will fucking attack you and rip you apart. You have friends from the former world, and you had many enemies. Okay? So when you speak of these things, and when you understand the Bible, when you pertain to the different characters in the Bible, which are archetypes of thought, like King David, so on and so forth, there are many things that it's talking about. And it's talking about the manifestation of things But the fact of the matter is, God does not necessarily want you to look there, because spirits operate off of energy. So the attention you pay, right? That's like currency. That's money. That's worth more than money. The attention you pay creates energy for them to come into your world or some shit like that. All right. That's how that shit is, man. I just want to say to you guys, man, the race is, when you see a film, like the closest I can say it, when you see a film like, take for instance, Captain America, the morals and aesthetics of his character being on an intrinsic value. Okay. Batman, you know, how he has like a certain law with himself, like, okay, but I'm not going to kill anybody. You know what I'm saying? And Captain America, like that, they have, you know, the aesthetics. When you start really looking into this, because most people just look at it, when you start looking at this beyond the surface level and start thinking about if you were in scenarios and how much self-control you would have, and correlate that with a very real dynamic, you'll realize, dude, you fly off the handle a lot easier than you think. You got to work on that. You got to work on all sorts of things. When you're blessed, especially like, let's say you had superhuman strength or something like that, a Captain America or something like that, you can't just tee off on somebody just necessarily because, you know, they sucker punch you. You can't do that if you have certain capacities and capabilities. So with the more that individuals want to be blessed and oftentimes pertain to this type of thing, the more restrained they are, because it's going to separate you and put you in a container in which you can only defend yourself under very minuscule circumstances. Okay, most of the time you're going to be made the victim. And that's why it was interesting, that film with Superman, where they were calling him God and they were going to like crucify him or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they were saying he's not God. And it's like, Superman was never like, well, I'm God. That's a man thing. Men do that. And we do it out of our insecurity. Okay? We do it out of our insecurity a lot of times. So these are my many frustrations pertaining to wisdom and knowledge, and even relationships. You know, how we divide ourselves according to knowledge, so on and so forth. Okay? And you know, my issues with females that are like trophies. I haven't found it come together where the aesthetic is put together. I mean, when you have a fucking beauty pageant where you're showing that the young lady is beautiful and she can articulate herself and have some more aesthetic and character, what does that tell you about the rest of society? These females are commodities. They're just getting turned out and used for the public. In secret circles. Not regular niggas like me, you know what I'm saying? That's not, you know, just regular ass niggas. And then their affections change, and when the female's affections change, then they turn dark. And this is the good girl gone bad dynamic that's in the music video, which is really fun for a time, and you get all the things you need. But by the time your mind and your body's obliterated and nobody's fucking with you anymore, this shit gets real. You know what I'm saying? And you want that safe nigga. You want that real shit because you don't have a way to live. But now you want something superficial that's based upon resources. So you out there like a leech. You know what I'm saying? A lot of individuals will pick you up, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Why would an individual engage in an endeavor where he's just going to be brutally used in a fucked up situation where his heart is a game? You know, this could lead to potential crimes and shit. You know? Then you get in those relationships with trophies where, you know, they constantly want to know shit like, you know what I'm saying? If they look good. You ever had that girlfriend where it's like, she's like fine as, she's already fine as shit. She look great. She looks great all the time, right? And then she's just like, oh, do I look great in this? And it's like, there's nothing worse than that forced compliance that females force you into, where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to give them you have to give them a quarter, I almost said quarter, like an arcade. You know what I'm saying? You got to insert a token. You got to give them a compliment, or else all hell is going to break loose, or they're going to fucking just come apart at the seam. See, their mind is not together. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot to deal with. I don't want to babysit my girlfriend. I don't want to be like fucking tiptoeing. I'm not like, former girls used to wonder why I wasn't like on like White Rice, like checking all through their phone and shit like that. It's like, if I gotta fucking be paranoid like your other boyfriends. I just find it to be, to a degree, effeminate. That's just my personal. It doesn't mean it's true, but it just doesn't really seem like a strong characteristic. Now, females do this thing, which is very annoying. But I'm like, why have a relationship if you don't trust each other? You might as well be free and enjoying life with the both of you, and those issues wouldn't even be there. But see, the females want that, but they don't want that. You see what I'm saying? In other words, they want a backboard off of men. And that's not some shit I want to put up with. And it's built like this in this society, this cess tank. And to a degree, they can't really help it. Okay? So the more beautiful they look, the more I see them as they've been used as a commodity, I got to think, what's the damage? I'm sorry. I'm fucking tactical like that. Niggas up here worried about game. Oh, girl, your nails look good. This, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? I'm tactical. I don't even know if I'm just gonna. If I ever run into the former people that I knew, which I knew really well, like Kevas and Mary. This was on the other side of the game. This is in Hyperia though. Okay. I don't even know if I've been through so much bullshit here. I don't even think the same. You know, I ask crazy questions like. It's like, while individuals are asking those fuzzy, getting to know you questions, it's like, listen, how many siblings do you have in your household? You know what I'm saying? People are like, damn, that dude's a fucking robot. I'm not a robot. It's just like, what type of shit you on? What you trying to escape from? Because out of all these motherfuckers in the room, you're definitely not talking to me. You know what I'm saying? 1000%. And I'm not going to be backboarded for a fucking resource. Fuck that. I want to have real conversations. I want to have, rich and unique relationships, and I feel like these relationships supersede environmental I don't know what's the word for it, amusement. You know, like fucking going to a fucking amusement park or going bowling and things of this. You gotta have the relationship. You gotta have the heart of the essence or purpose of why you're actually spending time, in which people get paid for together for free. Right? If we're going to have this world that's based upon commodity. So I'm pit between my heart and being very cutthroat. And I'm like clenching my teeth because it's like, well, okay, I've been very like the hard route. I got stabbed in the back a bunch of times. It's happened every time I come here. But it just sucks because it is a sacrifice. You have to die to yourself following God. You become more alive that way. But I can't guarantee you, most cases, a lot of bad things are going to happen. Individuals around you will be revealed. You'll be able to see through them, basically. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, hey man, you know, so you get into these, you got to look at things ahead of time, you know. So you get these scenarios where females, that's a whole archetype pertaining to age and psychology, you know. How do I look in this? Okay, which is nothing wrong to ask that if they know they look great, if they just want to show. But if you truly want some type of compliment or something like that, if you do that shit to me, it's like pulling teeth. Like I just fucking die inside, and it's like I may eventually do it to see if you're struggling, but I would really contemplate like if I ever see you again. Because I'm not gonna go down this road of some type of forced compliance for something as elective as a fucking compliment. Now, if I didn't think you look great, you wouldn't have to ask anything. I would tell you, listen, you gonna wear that? you gonna wear that outside with me? No. I ain't fucking with that. You know what I'm saying? These females at a time, even when you're dating them, get so damn thirsty that it's almost as if they believe that you are fucking blind, dude. Like I'm talking about something spiritual. I'm talking about the horse leech. This is what you want to avoid. It's that succubus spirit. Okay? You want to avoid that shit because once you give her some of that fucking refined sugar of a compliment that she had a level of manipulation and influence on you. See, you're not dealing with the karma. You're not dealing with the female. The female is oppressed, and the horse leech is driving the vehicle. Okay, this is pertaining to the earth because the earth is never filled with water. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The earth is never filled with blood neither. Okay. And this pertains to a law of supply and demand and the natural law, which is brutal. Okay. So by the time you come together with different laws, okay, and this is not about whether the individual looks great. They know that they look great. I mean, common sense is that you're with that individual. However, okay, this is about some type of implied consent in which they can manipulate the circumstances. We have the same dynamics with babies. So there's no fault or issue with the individual that has pure intentions. However, do not ask me how great you look before we go out so that you could entertain strangers. So, because I could be free. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one that really, once I get who I like, I don't go out so much. I don't know. I don't know. I got what I want. I don't really need to see too much out there. You know what I'm saying? That's normal for a dude, because it's like, fuck you want to go out for it, because females like to advertise to other females. Okay. So it's like, okay, so if I'm dating you and you need a girlfriend, then by all means, we could go ahead and shop that. I don't think any guy would complain. The problem is that females are bashful. But it seems to be a knack that they tend to have on some type of fucking side knack, man. Some type of fucking side knack, you know? So the fact of the matter is, when it's a side knack, then it's like, go for that. Then you have to figure out from that move is whether you're being utilized as a resource or not, because it's like, well, can you just stay with her? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to have to, you know what I'm saying? That's what's going to have to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't want to do that. You see what I'm saying? And you have to look for the subtleties or changes in their behavior that would suggest that you're a resource, meaning they would get nicer. Now, for others that don't understand, they would just automatically choose, based on listening to this information, they would get meaner. And that would not be the correct answer either. And we all know it. They would have to be precise, and that can only come through their intentions of them being pure in their intentions. Okay? And you're going to be able to pick that up. Okay? With your bullshit detector. Okay? So I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm put in a situation or a power dynamic, because a lot of time I notice that men and women tend to have like a tug of war or always be in some type of fucking superficial altercation with one another that isn't particularly productive. I don't wish to waste my time in this way. Okay? I don't want to be manipulated. So the forced comply thing, I really look at it. Okay, it happens with police. I don't want to end my relationship with my girlfriend over something as superficial as what they fucking look like. There are mirrors. It takes 2 seconds. If I don't want to hang out with you, I won't. And then this is where females say, a man is being cold. Why do you talk to me like that? You know what I'm saying? One female said, "What you don't talk to me like a female." Now, first of all, there's all sorts of things wrong with that statement. Okay? Because it was, you know what I'm saying? I was dating a female, okay? However, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I talk to everybody the fucking same. I talk. The only thing different with females is that every now and again, I'll be a little more tender with them. But that doesn't, most of the time, I'm not going to front with you. I got enough personality and expression in myself. I'm like a T-800. Let's get down to fucking business. Let's stop this fucking, you know, this is what I mean about females psychologically. A lot of times nowadays, since this MK Ultra shit, mature much slower. They used to mature much quicker than men. Now they're on a slow shield. They move slow. And this is another sign that they are a commodity. Now, they will get mad at me, but the fact of the matter is, you have not heard this information hit you in the head outright like a nigga like me has told you. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So this is the burdens of Christ, where you carry the cross because you keep it real and tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? And everybody comes in to crucify you because you're naked. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't my salvation that's going to be hanging in the balance. You know what I'm saying? If somebody moves on me, and with the way I come down here, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the archetype as one of the judges. Okay? The 144K. So if you kill me, just, you know what I'm saying? If you haven't changed by the time I see you again, because you know what I'm saying? I understand I'm not fucking mortal. You know what I'm saying? I am in this earth, in this element of earth format. I don't want anybody to confuse that. But it's like, I know who I am spiritually. And the Bible says that it will lead you to understand who you were. You will be known as you were known. Meaning the Bible will lead you all the way back to before anything. Yeah, when you were with God, it will lead you back there. If you have a portion, it can do that. The Bible can do, the spirit of the Bible can do that. That's what happened to me. Okay. That's how I remember. I remember because God knows that. Not because, like, you know what I'm saying, I just happen to remember. The Bible says that he calls you to remember. That's what it says in scripture. A lot of individuals focus on learning. Okay, learning is a thing, but it's taking that in the process that you're learning to remember who you are. So when you look at a film such as Jason Bourne Identity, it says it all right there. This individual was reborn. It was a rebirth when he was found with 6 bullets in his back, and he had to find out who he was. And he was who he was, though he wasn't who he used to be. This is the same John Wick dynamic, and this caused a lot of problems. So when you're in this matrix, let's say it's like an overbearing, loving mother that wants to keep you the same and to keep you as little children your entire life. That when you break away and you grow up and you grow older or whatever, that this same mother that loved you turns into a grizzly bear and mauls you to death because it says, this is not my kid, because you're inside of this system or this dream. Okay? So the matriarchy pertaining to females that you deal with, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think Kevos is in Hyperia, so I don't have to worry about that. But like, if like Kevos and all of them, like if they were here, you know what I'm saying? Individuals that I knew, you know what I'm saying, at another place, you know, like Cherie, like if Cherie was here in this world or whatever, you know, it's like, first of all, it's like, is it the same Cherie, or is this, they have something called dimensional cloning, where this place it can copy all your genetics in an instance, in a split instance. It'll even take 3 months. They by the division of dimensions, like meiosis and birth, they can copy your entire being down to your knowledge. The thing that makes me anomaly to the system is the incorporeal part of God's spirit, God's wisdom. Therefore, it throws off the code to where it can't perfectly copy who I am as an individual. So this puts me in the Scanner Darkly dynamic. All right. And this is where you get a lot of individuals, especially females. If you're trapped, like, not, I mean, like if you have to go to class and they're like, well, what, you know what I'm saying? You're like, why do people pay attention to me? I fucking mind my own business. It's like this. They fucking can tell the matriarchy. And I'm not saying that these individuals like me or anything like that. It's not like that when it happens, but it's like they can, the matrix, it's a trippy thing. It can tell, the matrix can tell that there's something different than you. So even if you quietly walk in the back of the room, it's like this energy that gets released like a helicopter flying over tall grass that lays it flat. You know what I'm saying? Where individuals turn and they look back and it's like, damn, I didn't even do anything. If I do anything, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get busted. Like, it's a problem, man. You know what I'm saying? And what it is that the matrix, the matriarchy knows itself. The matrix knows itself. So when you're in the matrix and you're not exactly a part of the matrix, then this is where you get into the matrix starting to be like trying to devour you. This is where you get into oppressions. This is where you get into people always knowing where Christ is at and following. This is where you get into targeting, so on and so forth. It's still spiritual because you're dealing with quantum dynamics and so on and so forth. And ever since they released CERN, those of us who are targets, our situation has ramped up and gotten worse. All right. So I ask fellas this, man, when you're dealing with implied consent, or I don't know how to say it, when these forced consent, when you're forced to give a compliment to your females, though it seems like a little detail, I want to ask fellas, are you dating the deep state? Okay. Because if you're dating the deep state, if this individual is just comprised of elements, then you're dating whatever spirits comprises that individual to make up their psychology. You will have a relationship more closest based in a scientific factor with another individual's psychology than you would with their body, wouldn't you? To some degree. I mean, pertaining to any sort of longevity in which an individual would ask potentially that question. Okay? And the fact that females in their intellect, the fact that they eaten from this tree first in the Garden of Eden, may potentially get bored with the simplicity of men much quicker, given their intellect. And given with intelligence and cats and so on and so forth, what makes them get bored a lot of the times, and where there's nothing to do and somebody gets bored, is we tend to be disruptive, don't we? So the occasion of having a perpetual tug of war in your relationship is normal to keep the circumstance of the female psychology and archetype that is more immature nowadays, since MK Ultra and them becoming a commodity in most instances, is more of a it's just more of a situation where you are dating the spirits that comprise that individual that are much older than you. Okay, you're dating a deity that has a look, and this same deity has many different looks of all the individuals that don't believe in God. So all of these individuals are dating the same centralized deity that has many different faces, and you're one of the entities that's supplying information to this entity that is comprised of deep state intelligence. And that links into your big blocks like the CIA and the government. All this shit is connected together because it's spiritual first. It's spiritual before it's technology. Okay? I told you what we exist inside of. Okay? So I want to ask fellas, are you dating the deep state? Because if you're dating the deep state, then niggas that be dating females or married to a wife end up getting turned out a different type of way. And they start wearing cardigans and become a certain type of way where if she loved you for who you were, how'd you get shapeshift? It's like you dated your mother, 1000%. All right? So that's a hammock dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Dropping gems in this joint, man. Taking niggas to church. Anybody remember that shit from the 90s when motherfuckers say, taking them to the church? So, the compliment that you hate to give oddly takes the longest amount of time, doesn't it? I guess it isn't so odd, but it's the fact of the matter that why would it be hard to give a compliment unless it's been forced upon you to give it? And this becomes a routine thing. And this routine thing becomes a nuisance for me with individuals that aren't organic, that just exist with the psychology of the system, because you get the routine relationship with another individual. The hello kiss, the goodbye kiss, the I'm uncomfortable, I'm feeling a certain type of way, maybe I've been introduced to new stimuli, maybe some new dude has come around, that type of kiss, and that type of hug. These things are as system checks or archetypal or routine, or to me as a robot. Maybe all the time you don't feel like giving me a peck. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? If I was in a relationship, maybe it's organic. Maybe it's not as consistent. Maybe it's more real than it is routine. Maybe we're together because we enjoy our company, not because we're afraid of being alone. These are things that I look for. I look for different things. And with the common consensus of psychology pertaining to that which is centralized in an archetype of the element of earth pertaining to knowledge, I cannot fuck with it. So you're dating everything that individual puts in their mind. Readers, not Reader's Digest, what them females read, them Cosmopolitan, and so on and so forth. And you know how it is when them females get together, especially with the older ones, and then they rip or male hate for like 3 or 4 hours a day, and all of a sudden you're speaking to something very old and decrepit, and you're like, damn, you still look cute, but like, dude, wow. You know what I'm saying? You remember that chick from Ghostbusters today. You know what I'm saying? What was her name? Zola or some shit like that? Hey, some of these chicks be possessed of the motherfucker. Are you dating the deep state? You don't want to wrestle with a cat. You ever seen a motherfucker survive a cat fight where it's just extra threads and yarn? These cats will fuck you up, nigga. They got arguments for days. They remember every fucking thing. Oh, you gotta fight the entire deep state to the motherfucker just to get out to work. You barely get out with your fucking drawers and socks attached to your fucking body, nigga. Shocking them to the body. Illuminati, all do that shit. Are you dating the Illuminati, nigga? Because if you dating the Illuminati, then I can't be your friend. I can come around a nigga. I like to keep my business clean. I don't like to get caught up in shit. There was an entanglement. I don't like to be confused as shit. Hands in the air like you just don't care. Get eaten by fucking sharks, nigga. Remember what I call that when I do that? I release the energy. I call them spirit babies. When I come off the top of the head, I bust a spiritual nut. I'm teaching you. That's what you ever go to church and you hear preachers do it. It's like they busted spiritual nuts and shit inside the church. I want to tell y'all something about Jesus and sound like a damn soda commercial and shit. It's like, damn, man, get the Sprite. Niggas is thirst dying of thirst up in this bitch. I know I am. I ain't got a lot of kicking. I'm like, shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm so fucked up right now. If I saw Kevin, I would probably tap her pockets. Like she owed me some money and shit. Hey man, listen. Hey man, listen, it's been rough out there. Just extra yarns and threads attached to my shirt as if I survived the fight from fucking Garfield on Garfield Street. I'll be tapping the pockets. Hey man, listen. I'm gonna need some of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to make it personal, but you know what I'm saying. Dude, I can't take this shit. I can't take this shit no more. Spirit baby. Spirit baby. Okay, man, so listen. Hey, man, are you dating the fucking deep state nigga? I'm trying to save you motherfuckers' life. I know niggas don't like me. There's a reason for that. That's how I keep separate. I don't run into problems. I'm scared of niggas that like me. I'm like, you really owe some shit. You must be in some real fucked up situation. And lo and behold, I'm still isolated. So what does that tell you? How many friends do you really have? How much shit are you entangled in? You ever watch the movies where motherfuckers find out near the end, like, they turn to their friend that they thought they knew and be like, well, shit, I was with you at the... How much shit am I tangled in, man? You remember them stressed out bars, the blinds in movies? The motherfucking friend get entangled the whole... Hey, man, listen, how many friends do you really have? I'll talk about the enemies you have that you don't know about by having the friends you have. Nigga, are you dating the deep state? Whoa, are you dating the deep state, nigga? Chill with the nickel bag of lime nickel. So, all right, man. Let's see. I'm gonna burrow through this. I'm procrastinating because I'm just fellas. Now, if you're dating the deep state, you have whatever type of relationship they have. I want to ask yourself this: a lot of niggas out there that's, you know, very successful, very close with a nice young lady, so on and so forth, everything like that, all nice and cozy and everything like that. She's so beautiful, she gonna be like the mother of my children. She's so damn beautiful, everything like that. For you niggas, I got something. Fellas, will your girl let you do what to her homegirl, what her homegirl does to her? You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Will your girlfriend let you do what her homegirl does to her? And it don't always have to be sexual, nigga. I'm talking about the things her homegirl get away with. Can you get away with? You married, you paying, you floating. You know what I'm saying? You taking. But wait a minute, her homegirl is always stressing and flexing. But wait a minute. And you got to deal with some of her homegirl shit too for the things that you hear. But wait a minute. If I stood you up at a place, you would kill me. Wait a minute, you let her live? Do you love her more than me? Fellas, are you dating the deep state? Bound chicka wow wow. Will your girl let you do what her homegirl does to her? Huh? Her homegirl slapping that vagina with that fucking what do you call that fucking shit when you go to the medieval fucking shows where the niggas ride the horses? She got the dildo on the end of a fucking joust just terrorizing your girlfriend. You can't stop throwing hot dogs, nigga. Now she fighting with you all the time because she needs a plausible deniability to leave the house and shit. Nigga. Are you getting accused for cheating? What type of knowledge does she got? What she doing? She checking her back and shit. Whoa, nigga, what she let you do what her homegirl does to her? Are you owed a little bit of extra? I'm just asking, pertain to you. You know, she could be a little mother, a child, and all that shit. Before you marry her, make sure you could do what her homegirl does to her. Because she definitely got homegirls, don't she? Whoa, 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 whoa. My bad, I just vocal exercise. I kind of mix everything in with my morning routine. I already stretched this morning and everything like that. So I do vocal exercise and shit. I'm gonna go down to the jungle gym, so I'm gonna do some fucking pull-ups in a second. Okay? But right now I'm gonna get through this thing. I didn't plan on recording right now. I was gonna record it after I got back. The first thing in the morning now, it's like I put God first. It's like I generally need to do this unless I need my thoughts to ruminate. Then I'll go exercise first. But it was just like, my brain was just like, hit record. So I just hit record. This is what we talking about. Hey man, listen. Are you dating the deep state, nigga? Huh? Do you love one another? Now, do you have an intimate relationship with this young lady, or do you have an intimate relationship with the deep state? Are you dating the voices in her head, or do you have a personal relationship, as in the day that you met this young lady, that you had a personal relationship, and then the cracks, this dark tar of the world and the intimacy got ripped out of your relationship through social media and everything else, and you didn't even notice, and this shit seeped into her mind and pricked her mind with thorns and concerns and worries, and now your bride or your jump off or your lady has a crown of thorns that is piercing your mind, and you see this thing is highly infectious, and it causes separation and division, and we got social media to air out our dirty laundry and shit. We have private societies and private councils outside of our relationships and not intimacy with our partners outside of sex. And we say that we got secrets. And I'm like, how? You done spoke to the earth. If these walls could talk, wait a minute, there's sugar coming down. I got diabetes. If I see Kevas, I'll be like tapping her pockets like, All right, fellas, are you dating the deep state? Nigga. Whoa. Sorry, I gotta time my vocal exercise at the same time. I like to multitask. Do you love one another? Huh? Or are you in love with the deep state? Are you in love with something else? And also I want to reiterate with this deep state thing. Is your mind fractured between your logical side and your emotional side? You know, females is scientifically proven they use both hemispheres of their brain, while men are predominantly dominant in one hemisphere of their brain. Okay, just to be fair, which means women pertaining to reading their literature or some sense like that because both hemispheres of their brain interact and work together, that they are more aroused by words, while individual concerned about superficial things. I mean, individual, like dudes, I'm gonna answer you this question. There's a lot of people worry about size and shit, size matter in society, and they're afraid to speak about it. Open your eyes, young man. Look around. If these females are comfortable and pliable with being lesbian and perfectly okay with that, I'm sure you'll be all right somehow. All right. If they're giving you complaint or lip about it, the minute they became lesbian, they lost that limb. Okay. outwardly, so on and so forth. Now, if that's their thing, all promotion, you know what I'm saying? Have a real relationship. Be real first. But like, I'm just saying, nigga, are you being used as a resource for the deep state? Are you talking to the earth? Do these sugar walls talk? Does the earth have knowledge? Is sex a paperclip to hold together society? Are you in America under Operation Paperclip? Nigga, you've been under an experiment like a Tuskegee Airman, and now I'm out here like Spider-Man with tingle senses, watching ASMR and shit. They test all kind of shit on us. They watching us for reasons, I'm saying, beyond your knowledge. You don't know who your girlfriend works for. You just know she works in the office, but works where and for who. And she coming home late. And her lipstick smeared. All types of shit in this society. You don't got a relationship to notice. So she asks you if she looks good in this because you didn't notice that her lipstick was smeared. And you on your last notice for a bill that's due tomorrow. You can have what you want as long as somebody else takes it. And you don't have enough to support. What does that mean? You must have open relationship. And therefore, men are also the commodity out of their female. And this female mind has been broken down with trauma and is being operated beneath the baseline by the deep state. So you dating a UFO, nigga. And it's going to turn you out into a propaganda. And you'll be in a cardigan with a sign and a picket fence. Outside the Capitol Hill. Talking shit. Like, yeah, Monica got me out here. I only got 2 cigarettes left, nigga. Are you dating the deep state? And will your girl let you do to her what her homegirl does to her? And could you get away with it? And did you need to? And do you have an intimate relationship? And are you worth it, nigga? And if these sugar walls could talk, could they talk also? And do females talk? And is there a chattiest circle in society where pillow talk can be dangerous? And how many friends does she have? Are you dating the deep state, nigga? Are other niggas coming around that know certain details that they wouldn't? That don't connect to your girlfriend? Where has she been going? You've been fighting a lot lately. Whoa. If Kevos was on this side of the game, I'd be tapping her pockets. And that shit is hella fucked up. Like, so I'm climbing the walls, get out of here. I'm trying to get back to Hyperia. And I'm asking nigga, whoa. Are you dating the deep state? And you and your lady intimate? For the fucks you give, do you have more priority over her girlfriend that you actually dating, considering a soul tie and her psychology? You thought you met her, but you didn't. And now you're an asset for information. And you come into contact with other friends and other individuals that came into your life. And now you're surrounded by all these people that you don't know, but she knows them all. And they all know you. Isn't it intricate? Are you dating the deep state, nigga? Trying to conduct your business. And now you got handles and traps. And you got resources. And you got assets. And you're the assets of big block government agencies. The minute that something goes wrong, that they could contact a nigga. Straight up on Facebook through your tailored profile. They know you faking, nigga. You about to get exploited all sorts of kinds of ways. Are you dating the deep state? This nigga's married to the game. You know I talked about this shit. Nigga. Whoa. See there, I get better vocal quality once I do that, because I don't have a microphone, you know what I'm saying? You can tell by the bad audio, it's legit. Are you dating the deep state, nigga? I'm trying to train your multi-track mind at the same time. While having you think about different things. They would call this ADD. You see, you could listen to information quicker than you could read it. Therefore, I could jump to here and bring it right back and say, are you dating the deep state? Are you manipulated in your relationships? And you're still right in the same place. And this is like exercise for communication. How many facts can your conscience hold? Are you in love with your girl or your man, or are you a routine transactional commodity? Because if your situation isn't intimate, your regards to your relationship, in her mind, you would need to understand, would be the same as everybody else's. And in some ways, knowledge is unbiased when individuals are favored. And are you a routine transactional commodity like everybody else that she knows for the most part? How has her mind been garnered through that trauma? And you got a trophy, but that trophy was a commodity first. So therefore, someone's always got the keys to your car. Are relationships truly personal with 6 degrees of separation? Can you get away with the same things that a girlfriend does that you didn't know about? In particular, even though you did. Creeping into your own house, not to get caught by your beloved. Isn't it intricate? Are you dating the deep state? Where did that fear come from? You must be manipulated, nigga. And I gotta watch who I'm friends with for who they deal with because this shit. And you got Facebook. With that tailored profile. And I can't mix my business, even though I don't have no business with you other niggas. Cause how much shit am I entangled in by being friends with this nigga? Cause you dating that girl and that girl is big block deep state. She don't think so typical. Even though she typically thinks like others think typically. Now she's saying different shit that's in particular. And that knowledge is different than knowledge you know, and your conversation is kind of garnered different than when I first met you both. So I guess I'm going to banana split. I ain't no fucking unicorn, nigga. Are you dating the deep state? Are you a prisoner in your own homie? Are you a prisoner in your own homie? Think about it. You are if you dating the deep state that was collected to the police for, and she's trained in all sorts of ways that she don't even know. She could just black out, slicing nigga. She like Mrs. Smith and shit. You thought you fell in love, but you fell in love with programs. Seems like niggas seem to keep falling next to that tree of knowledge. You fell asleep on your keyboard. I'm waking you up. Are you dating the deep state nigga? Are you a transactional commodity in your intimate relationship where you become an asset of the deep state beyond your knowledge because you can't get away what a girlfriend does? You don't know who her girlfriend works for. Are you a prisoner in your own home? How often does she speak to her girlfriend? And does her girlfriend have intel on your behavior? And how many friends does a girlfriend have? And it seems you have friends and friends in which that are closer to her and none of them are yours. Are you a transactional commodity? Are you an asset? You know what I'm saying? And you getting accused of cheating while she goes out. You want to know what niggas do when they girl leaves? If females want to know what niggas do when they leave, okay, pertains to like they don't want to fuck with them anymore. Nothing. Niggas don't do the same shit that females have. That insecurity where you need a rebound and all that shit. Niggas really don't do that. We go play basketball. We do some normal ass shit that we always been doing while you was tripping the whole time and we didn't notice because we like dogs and you like cats and you ate from the tree first. So your intellect is different and you're suppressed by the individual you're with, and therefore it's a spiritual curse that you have these desires. We used to be equal and we're still equal, but you can't understand the difference that equality doesn't correlate with roles pertaining to order. And in order to fit into that role, then you have a role that's generally ascribed in the collective mind that would relate to a man. It doesn't make you less female if you do a thing that a man does. But it does make you less female if you're a feminist doing the things that men do, that you're defying the very essence of what you're trying to promote as strength. Okay? So the only way through that crack is that individuals that are androgyne are able to just be androgyne without having to fit into the male-female dynamic. That's the only way that it could work. You have to fucking make room for them. You have to. You might need 3 bathrooms. I really hated the idea at first, but let's be honest. These individuals, okay, in society, in many cases, I'm not sure if androgyne individuals can fit in the same category where they can necessarily, all of them could go inside of the man's bathroom. Okay, I've really been thinking about this shit. I'm not sure if they could go into the female's bathroom. If I have like a daughter or something like that with all the pedophilia and shit like that, hey man, listen. I'm not sure if they could go into the female's bathroom necessarily. I mean, especially if I have a girl and everything. Oh, wait a minute, man. You know what I'm saying? So they would need their own bathroom if that's what it is, because you're talking about an individual that's not going to discern or decide, which sex they're going to roll with. If individuals, and I didn't see the bone structures, even on ChatGPT, some of these individuals, you know what I'm saying? There are individuals that are hermaphroditic. There are individuals that have the, I think it's called the iliac crest, the pelvis region that is wider pertaining to childbirth, and don't have like the abdominal lines, okay, that connects the thigh. You know what I'm saying? That may have a member. Whether that member is as developed as their female qualities, they may at times lean more to one side or another. But there are actual real androgynes, okay, that would be mixed in with individuals that are pertaining to a culture. So therefore they are divided in there, and they are concealed in the earth in that type of way. They have, you know what I'm saying, both properties. And some individuals really do have both properties. You can even tell down to their psychology. You see what I'm saying? How difficult would that be if they don't have a place to fit in the world? Okay, so the fact of the matter is pertaining to the reason why we're getting propagandized with sports and everything like this is we have to make a way, most definitely, for these individuals to fit. And I think that it will help them a lot and free up their mind from being like a commodity, because I've seen it a lot of time with these young individuals that are androgyne, that has to fit within a certain structure and have to keep expressing or changing themselves into different structures in order to fit into the archetypes of society. Okay, if we are in the essence of following Christ to love our enemies, right? If we're in essence to love our enemies, right, then we would garner or cater to these individuals such as the same. But they're not necessarily our enemies either. Nobody's really saying that, right? But if we go to the immediate extremity that Christ asks us to love our enemies, even if so these individuals were our enemies, would we not be hospitable if this is God's country? Okay, but we got to cut some of that propaganda down along with that. I'm sorry I got on a tangent. We have to cut down some of that propaganda in which you have LGBT or gay rights that are so much more extreme than just an average individual. That shit is so fucked up. Okay, the difference is I was born so-called African American, whatever the fuck that is. I was born that, meaning between two nationalities, born in one country. I was born. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black dude. You know what I'm saying? Individual sexual preference. I am appalled. Do not start. You know what I'm saying? But that also, I understand what they are going through, in the sense that, let's be honest, take it from every time and really meditate on that. What type of restrooms do you want these individuals engaging in? Now, I can tell you that would be an interesting topic, and which will be tossed to and fro, because these individuals are commonly in society as commodities. Okay. Also. Okay. So the fact of the matter is like, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be individuals that's severely for them, like, no, they got to go to the fucking men's bathroom, and they definitely got ideas. You see what I'm saying? So you have to create a way, okay, for these individuals to have the same opportunities. It's just got to happen, okay? The only thing that happens, Okay, because I wanted to address that topic. I've been meaning to address that topic. Getting back to this thing, the only thing a nigga does, okay, niggas, because niggas is like dogs and we're more simplified. The only thing that happens, females, that when you decide to leave us, okay, and say like I don't want to date you anymore, it's nothing. We don't fucking do anything. We really don't. We live so fucking crazy. We leave the toilet seat up for once. We have the liberty and freedom to leave the fucking toilet seat up. That's what we do. We leave the toilet seat up. We're like, well, don't gotta put down the toilet seat at least. That's it. That's all we do. We're really that simple, man. Really that simple. Men are we are kind of like dogs. I own that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We ascribe to, festivities as functional as playing fetch. Like me, I like to go. A lot of men like to weightlift. We just want to pick up something heavy and put it back down. We don't fucking know why. We just want to do it a bunch of times. Females, when they leave, not only do they cheat with somebody that they actually have intimate feelings for. When men do it, it is not like that. When men do it, it's like, okay, listen, in most cases, this is what it is, a circumstantial thing, and then that's what it is. We are, in truth, garnered in different ways also. So, pertains to the fact that in Genesis, it's written that God created males and females, and we have androgynes. I would have to suppose that the androgynous individuals in society would appear to be helpmeets. Okay, they would appear to be helpmeets. That they might have been the helpmeets that God provided in society that are as flowers of the field. So these unicorns, to a degree, maybe individuals are forsaking their own blessing. Okay, but pertaining to mankind and womankind, so on and so forth, there's got to be something to it, man. I just haven't looked at, I haven't looked into it. I just woke up and just decided to talk about all these topics and shit out of nowhere, man. But peace and blessings with all you niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get the fuck out of here. All right, peace.